If Kerry Smith was on sedatives, as Patrick O'Flynn says, were these the ramblings of a man on medication or his true beliefs?
I don't know. Only Kerry Smith can answer that question. What I'm pleased about is that he has resigned and stood down. Whether he was on sedatives or not, I think the party wholeheartedly accepts that it wasn't a good enough excuse, and we're all delighted that that he's done the decent thing and fallen on his sword.
Well, you said that, but Patrick O'Flynn was defending him yesterday and actually implying that he shouldn't have to go.
He was, and let's just look at it from our perspective for a moment. Kerry Smith was put back in that seat because he had the wholehearted endorsement of the people of the constituency who actually wanted him to stand for Parliament. So we didn't jump to any conclusions. I think we like to act with compassion and kindness, and I'm not going to apologise for that and to give him the benefit of the doubt. These tapes have now come to light, and it's quite right that he's gone.
Right, why did Patrick O'Flynn insist that actually there were mitigating circumstances?
Well, I think perhaps there clearly were mitigating circumstances. There are mitigating circumstances. I don't think they're good enough, but he has gone now, and we hope we can start to move on from that, find another candidate for the seat, and start to get the message out there of what UKIP is really all about, not what one road candidate says it's about.
Well, Neil Hamilton also went from that seat, which is why Kerry Smith was there. It's not one road candidate.
It has, I mean, it's been a disaster. I can't say anything otherwise. It's not been a good week, and we have to be honest and admit that. You know, we're a fairly new party. Like any growing organisation, any growing business, there are teething troubles, and I think the difference between us is that we deal with them. You look at some of the other issues that are going on. You know, there's a 10-year-old paedophile scandal in Westminster that none of the main parties want to address whatsoever. Right. We've had expenses scandals. There's shocking statistics this week about the number of people being given British passports who are actually criminals. They should be sitting here answering questions as well as me. Right,
but we're talking about party and internal party workings. Do you accept Kerry Smith was just unsuitable as a parliamentary candidate, full stop?
Yes, I do.
Right, and he wasn't weeded out by what's now called the professional workings of the party. In fact, your man in charge, I think, says he spends half his time weeding out the lunatics. Is that what he's doing?
I think he was slightly exaggerating there. We have some very good candidates as well, obviously. Look, we are not the only party. The Labour Corps and Lib Dems have much more sophisticated and are able to throw much more money at selection processes than we are, and they too have lunatics in their rank, as we all know.
Right. Are the wheels coming off, though, the organisational part of UKIP? We listed there at the beginning, immigrants causing traffic jams on the M4, rows over breastfeeding in public, allegation of sexual harassment against your General Secretary, strenuously denied, and now, of course, we've been discussing about your second candidate going from a target seat. The professionalisation of UKIP is not working, is it? The
professionalisation of UKIP is perhaps a work in progress, but it certainly is working. You know, it's not been a good week, I admit that. There are still teething problems, but we do our best, and we do deal with these issues. The moment the issue with the General Secretary
Except, as I say, Patrick O'Flynn didn't. Why wasn't he asked to go? He had to resign in the end, Kerry Smith. Why wasn't he pushed?
Well, I think he was pushed.
Right. OK, well, thank you for clearing that up. Obviously, there was a change of heart then at central control in UKIP. Where are these leaks coming from that are damaging your party? I
have no idea. I suspect they might even be coming from outside, actually. We know
from
that...
outside, not inside the party?
Well, I think we know for sure that the other political parties have got units investigating UKIP, going through Twitter feeds, so on and so forth. I think the media are obviously... the media's not terribly friendly, and I think they are looking in detail at UKIP as well. We are put under enormous amount of scrutiny, and I don't mind scrutiny as long as it's fair and across the patch and equal with that of other parties.
Are you saying it's not fair? I mean, these are
an unfair deal.
Would you accept these are problems of your own making?
No, I don't think I
Which
would,
one isn't?
actually.
Of those, that list I gave you, which one isn't a problem of your own making?
I think we might have been part of the issue that as it arose, but I think some of them have been blown up out of all proportion. I mean, what Nigel said about breastfeeding, for instance, he made it perfectly clear in that interview that he had no problem whatsoever with women breastfeeding in public, and I certainly don't, and I've never met anyone in UKIP who does after. And I think, again, this is an example of something being blown out of all proportion in a way that wouldn't have happened to the other parties.